This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend. The end of our elaborate plans. The end.
All right, folks. Welcome to the Doghouse. Your inside look at the Cleveland Browns. Another Monday. Another loss. No real surprise there. 3 points. 37-3. The worst point differential beatdown that the Cincinnati Bengals have ever laid on the Cleveland Browns, and the worst stretch of losses in Browns history going back to last season as well. Andy McNamara alongside Matt Florjancic from WKYC Sports in Cleveland, our Browns insider. Get us on Twitter at AndyMC81, at Matt Florjancic. And my question that we put out there on Twitter this morning was pretty simple. Is this the worst Browns team on and off the field you have ever seen? The worst team on the field, the worst coaching job, the worst GM job, the worst every part of this team being put together. Is it the worst? Because you could argue, all right, they went 2-14 in 1999, but there was excitement in the city. The team was back. It was an expansion team. That's fine. We're what, 16 years later? And we're worse than the expansion Browns. Matt, I'd ask how are you. I know how you are. We keep asking if it could get worse or hit rock bottom. It seems like it can. We still have a quarter of the season left, folks. There's still a quarter of the season left. This could get somehow even uglier.
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
It really, I mean, it seemed like we were in week 16 depression mode about 3 weeks ago. And the scary thing is we're only 3/4 of the way through it.
Yeah.
You still have the Seahawks.
Oh, boy.
The Chiefs, who are on a monster winning streak. Then you look at it, and you have Frisco, who beat Chicago on the road last week with Blaine Gabbert as their quarterback. And you end the season with a Steelers team that is as red hot as any team in football right now, and they laid a whooping on the Indianapolis Colts last week, who are a hell of a lot better of a football team. Maybe not defensively, but a hell of a lot better football team overall than the Cleveland Browns. And that's who you end the season with. At home, no less.
Oh, at home.
So the NFL gives you that swift kick right in the behind with 3 home games in the final 5 weeks, 2 in the last 4, and then the home finale against the Steelers on January 3rd as they steamroll the Browns on their way to the postseason.
Yeah, Matt, if the season ended today, though, first overall pick. First overall draft pick. That's really what we can hold our hats on. And yes, does it breed horrendous culture in the locker room, just the losing? Of course it does. But it's not going to breed it any less if you get the 2nd or 3rd overall pick, so you might as well just zone out. And Matt, I hear, all right, well, fire the coach midseason. No! This is, if you want to bottom out, let them keep doing their job. This is working out tremendously well. Jim O'Neill is you talk about the worst Browns team, worst managed team, worst players. He is the most terrible defensive coordinator I've ever seen in my life at the college level, even at the high school level. My high school coaches, you know what they did? Literally every play. They handed the ball off. That was it. We finished dead last. I was a wide receiver. I ended up just blocking. That scheme is better than what the Browns are doing. It's beyond embarrassing. I don't even know the word to describe it. And there just seems to be no plan. And for Mike Pettin after the game to say, I saw some good things. You saw some good things in a 37-3 Battle of Ohio whipping. You were taken to school in front of your home crowd, embarrassed, and you found some good things? Like Matt, is this guy delusional? Does he still think he can save his job by talking positively?
I guess this is his last-ditch Hail Mary, Aaron Rodgers style pass to try and save his job, but I don't see how this is going to work.
How?
The only good thing about yesterday was that it ended.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I've been in stadiums across this country. I've seen blowouts in every city imaginable. I have never seen a Cleveland Browns crowd, and I'm not blaming them because I would have done the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a Cleveland Browns crowd leave as early as I did.
Well, they knew it was happening.
I walked back to Channel 3 yesterday from the stadium, which is about a mile-long walk, and on the way out, the Bengals buses drove by. And as typical, as with any team in the NFL, they got a police escort away from the stadium.
Right.
They didn't need one. There was no traffic jam, and I'm not being facetious here. They did not hit traffic until they got a mile and a half up the road to get to the entrance to the highway. That was the only traffic they hit the entire time.
Wow. So to catch up with the people who had already left in advance.
There was absolutely no reason for Browns fans to sit through that yesterday and then have their head coach sit there and say, there were some positives that came out of yesterday.
Yeah, go home, Mike Patton.
Okay, Darius Jennings played his heart out.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can honestly say he's in the minority of players who did that yesterday. Because there wasn't a lot of heart, there wasn't a lot of pride, and you know how I know that? Because if there was, they wouldn't have gotten their butts kicked by 34 points on their home field. Mm-hmm. And, you know, a couple of guys refused to talk to the media post-game. Cameron Irving, who got benched because when he went in for Joel Bitonio, he was basically a sieve and couldn't block anybody. You know, he said, I don't want to talk to the media, and he walked out of the locker room. That's not being a man. That's not answering for what you just made everybody watch, okay?
Yeah.
You may think you're a professional athlete, but being a professional athlete is more than just playing a game on Sunday. It is answering to the media when you screw up. You have to be a man and say, look, I'm not strong enough yet. I came in here, and there's not an ounce of muscle on my body. I am completely covered in baby fat, and I need to get in better shape to play the game of football at a high level. I'm a first-round pick, and I'm not acting like it. And Brian Hartline was another one who denied access to the media by saying, why don't I want to talk? Because I enjoy being employed.
That speaks volumes, though, doesn't it, Matt? Doesn't that speak volumes for what he...
It does speak volumes, and it tells me two things. A, he was going to bury the coaches, and B, he's going to bury the general manager.
Wow.
And those are the two guys that make the decisions of ultimately whether Brian Hartline is employed or not.
Hartline has guaranteed cash. What the heck does he care? Get kicked out.
Because he knows that if he gets released by the Browns, he still has a chance to have a playing career afterwards.
Wow. I guess let's briefly go over this disaster, Matt, because really there's nothing positive to take out of it, despite what Mike Patton says, out of this game for the Browns. Darius Jennings, 5 catches off the practice squad, 2 more catches than Dwayne Bowe's had all season right there. Brian Hartline led the way with 8 catches. He was fine. The problem that the Browns always run into, Matt, is, okay, there were penalties, there were failed running attempts, etc. So the stats are always a little bit deceiving because when you're 3rd and 15, the defense will give you 10 yards and then stop you short of the marker. That's what the Browns are doing all day. And Isaiah Crowell had 62 yards rushing, but you take away that 123 and he's back to being very, very ordinary. Somehow he burst through there. And Austin Davis, serviceable. Like Austin Davis, I give him credit for Matt, I called it pulling a Connor Shaw last year. Gutsy, lots of heart, tons of effort. You love that type of mentality on this team. Yes, that's the type of what playing like a Brown was supposed to be. But the bottom line is, dude's a backup. He's going to be a backup. Nothing wrong with that. You need backups. 230 yards, no touchdowns, 1 pick on a miscommunication with Brian Hartline. And
intentional grounding penalties. Backwards pass that
backwards
people
pass.
Forgot was still a live ball.
Right.
I don't understand how Isaiah Crowell just stood there and looked at the damn ball. Even if you think it's an incomplete pass, just follow it.
Yep. Just
Just
do
fall
that.
on it.
Nope.
Just fall on it and you'll be fine. But no, we've got 4 guys in the area sitting there looking at the damn thing. What are you doing? It's a live ball. Even if you thought it got tipped, it was still a backward pass, which means that yet it is still a live ball. I had to contain myself in the press box yesterday because I really could have lost my mind.
There's just
Great school players know to get on the damn football.
Yeah.
How do professional athletes not know that a ball is live?
this coaching
Are you
staff.
kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Get on the ball. Make a play. Even if you don't make positive yards, you still keep possession of the football. Not that they would have been able to play the battle of field position because Mike Pettin figured, hell, we're 2-9. Let's go for it on 4th down from the Bengals' 40-yard line. Yeah, because they don't have any weapons that in 2 plays they can turn it into a touchdown. Yeah, no problem. Our defense is good enough to stop them on a short field.
Please.
In the first
Please.
and second quarters, you're going for it on 4th down? And I'm not talking 4th and 1. The one was a 4th and 1. The one was a 4th and 11.
Trying to catch him off guard, Matt. Catch him off guard.
I think they caught themselves off guard because the players are looking going, hey, where's Andy Lee? I thought he was a Pro Bowler. What the hell?
Well,
For as much as they didn't use Andy Lee yesterday, I still haven't figured out yet why Dwayne Bowe or Terrell Pryor were inactive because apparently the strategy was we're not going to punt today. They punted like twice or 3 times, and by that point it was a moot point.
and then you had the special teams guy extra. So those were not Pryor and Bowe were not dressed to have an extra defensive lineman because it was they're going to run the ball, so we need that extra lineman and an extra special teamer. So as you said, they barely punted the ball. Ray Farmer complains and says, wide receivers aren't important because they only impact the game up to 10 times. Special teams do that even less, and that is your strategy. Matt, this team is flawed from top to bottom. Ray Farmer and the coaching job of Mike Penn and his staff, save Chris Tabor as the special teams guy kind of on the side of that, but mainly him and Jim O'Neill, have crippled this franchise. They have set this franchise back to worse than an expansion team, Matt. Like this 99 team was in better shape moving forward because at least they played their first-round quarterback. They played Tim Couch. This team
Well, they didn't
is
really
crippled.
have an option. It was the opener was so bad they had to play Tim Couch because they knew that Detmer wasn't going to do anything, and stymieing the growth of Couch was stupid at the point because they were all going to try to grow together.
But there's hope then,
It
Matt.
didn't work out as well as they would have hoped, but I would argue that Tim Couch is one of the tougher human beings that I've ever seen play quarterback because outside of David Carr with the Houston Texans, I don't think there was a more sacked quarterback in the league over his first 5 years than Tim Couch, and he played through a lot. He got this team to a playoff
Sure did.
game, which that's pretty unheard of, and it will remain pretty unheard of for
The only one.
foreseeable future. That's for sure.
The only one. So the Bengals run wild. For some reason on the defense, they figured do not cover AJ Green, one of the best wide receivers in the game, on multiple tries. Traymon Williams, poor Traymon's running around expecting safety help. It's not there. They just look confused. And Matt, the insanity that is Jim O'Neill refusing to admit and make adjustments to his defense was a fireable offense 5 weeks ago, if not longer. Like it is just complete nonsense. Like if Mike Pettin, you want to go down with your buddy, that's fine. You guys can drink beer and collect your severance pay. Don't feel bad for Mike Pettin, folks. Not for a second. Don't feel bad for Pettin, Farmer, O'Neill, any of these coaches or front office people. Never feel bad for them. They're going to get paid. Mike Pettin's got what, Matt? 2 years left on his deal?
2 years officially, and then an option for a third. So yeah, the Browns are basically on the hook for 2 more seasons.
2
after this
years,
one. So
getting millions
after
of dollars.
just finishing off, I believe, paying Pat Shermer.
Mm-hmm.
They still have to pay Rob Chudzinski. I believe it's 2 more years because he had an awesome agent that made sure that if you go to career-killing Cleveland, That's what I'm going to start calling this town
Right.
for coaches, because you